Alright, Spider-Man is one of the rawest characters in all of Marvel, but it goes deeper than just his powers, bro. It's all about his mentality, and this is why he never folds. Okay, so the Spider-Man moment I'm using for this one is coming from Amazing Spider-Man 1999, issue number 34, and it's raw as hell. Spider-Man is fighting this character known as Morlun, right? One of those overpowered types that can touch you, absorb your energy, and follow your life power around the city, and basically beat you to a pulp and outlast you, etc. Spider-Man being the character he is, even though they got better powers than him, he's still gonna pull up and try to help. Make a long story short, Spider-Man basically ends up fighting this dude that absorbs life energy for 12 hours straight. He has a moment to himself to truly sit down and think about it and be like, damn, I really don't want to do this right now. For me, this is where Spider-Man sits down and then he self-reflects and he's like, you know what? But I'm Spider-Man. He knows that he's been getting cooked. He knows that he'll probably die. He knows that he could honestly dip if he wanted to. But he knew the day he took up that mantle that he was gonna hold it down to the day he dies. That's raw as hell. Alright y'all, Boruto is already controversial by itself, but here's his absolute worst moment. Counting this as a Boruto moment because it came out in that weird little transition where movies like The Last and Boruto Naruto the movie was coming out, so we're kind of trying to transition over to Boruto fully as a series. For all of those pieces of Naruto content coming out, we finally got to see Naruto get crowned as Hokage, his goal that he's wanted all along. Psych! What actually happened was Boruto made Himawari mad on the day of Naruto's Hokage ceremony. This was one of the days that she activated her Byakugan and all of a sudden wanted to use her gentle fist as well. Himawari is basically trying to kill Boruto and she runs up to try and attack him. She ends up hitting Naruto instead, knocking him out. When Naruto slumped, Konohamaru had to become a clone of Naruto and do the ceremony for him. A moment like this that kind of holds me back from watching Boruto a lot of times. This was the one thing that we were waiting on all along for Naruto to achieve, and it just got thrown in a dumpster in less than 30 seconds. I was so hurt. Alright y'all, let's be honest about all of the Batman kids. Which one was the worst Robin? Before y'all even hate on me, I'm going straight with Tim Drake, bro. Let's be for real. First of all, I don't hate Tim Drake / Robin as a character, right? I hate him as a Robin. Let me speak. I will go on to say he is the best detective as a Robin, and he's one of the ones more likely to go ahead and become the Batman after Batman actually gets packed up for real, for real. Other than that, who is bro for real? Like, I love Tim Drake, bro, but the whole fact is that he never grew out of that Robin role in order to go on and pursue other things. You got Nightwing, Red Hood, Oracle, and then when you get to him, he just becomes Red Robin. What the hell? The thing that kills me about that, right, is that Robin isn't a mantle that you're supposed to have as your main thing. It's supposed to be a mantle you adopt in order to go on to brighter things. The whole thing for me that bro wants to stay being the sidekick superhero. Robin is not a Flash situation where everybody gets to grow up and be the Flash. Bro wants to be Robin forever, that's on him. Just let Damian have a little bit of fun. Alright, I'm glad this meme has kind of died, but I feel like a lot of people wrote off One Piece purely because of the fact that it was long. Now, One Piece is a series, right? It is one of the most legendary, biggest series of all time, being part of the big three, so on, you've heard it a million times. One Piece being as long as it is, it led to the birth of a meme that led people to say One Piece is too long to pick up and too mid to pick up because it is long. It is a pretty backwards idea to have that just because a story has a million chapters or whatever means that it can't have a very in-depth and very intricate story. I feel like that's precisely how One Piece beat these allegations. Because even though One Piece is long, right, it's not filled with a bunch of BS and a bunch of filler that makes it long. Filled with in-depth story arcs in each and every island that makes the story as full and has as many characters as it does. If anything, it gives the reader something to grasp onto because there's parts of the story that you could like that are 20 years apart and it all connects, bro, and we're still not done. One Piece is raw as hell. You know, Deku starting off as a wimp in My Hero Academia almost ruined the series for a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people talk about it, but there was a mass horde of shonen fans that wrote off My Hero Academia from the jump just because Deku was a little bit of a softer MC. I think one reason is because a lot of the other MCs in Shonen Jump do tend to start off a little bit more tougher and a little bit more on the meathead side of things, where they tend to be a little bit more brash and taking things head on and not being in their feelings a lot like how Deku was in the beginning. Asta, Naruto, those are two MCs that while they were on a little bit of a softer side of things, they were more of meathead characters that when they were faced with like obstacles, they responded by being louder in return and trying to overpower the obstacles with like their voice and what they do. Unlike Deku handled this by thinking around the obstacle and even seeming like he's shying away from the problem sometimes by his demeanor, but he's actually figuring it out in his own way. I think Deku in the last couple of years has definitely beat the wimp allegations and he's now a raw MC. already know that the breathing styles in Demon Slayer are fake, but the fact that they are low-key does ruin the immersion for me. Let me explain. I think we all remember the discourse that came when it went low-key semi-viral, that the Demon Slayer breathing styles weren't actual elemental attacks, but they were more so motion of the swords and how they were moving. But it's simply all that cool stuff UFO Table did for them was basically BS if you look at it on the screen. It is highly debated on exactly what the author meant by they are mimicking the movements of the element, and if it is implied that they're not having powers or not. The basis of the debate itself does kind of mess up the whole show for me. Because when we see Zenitsu one-shot somebody at the speed of lightning, or when we see Rengoku burn the ground when he's messing up demons or whatever on the train, it all just looks like BS because it's not really that powerful when you realize he's just a couple of steps above a samurai at best. Even though a lot of people like Black Clover right now, I feel like at first a lot of people hated it when it first came out. Reason for that had to have been Asta screaming, bro. I remember a lot of people were just wilding about that. I will admit, when you first were reading / watching Black Clover for the first time, especially in the anime, you could see that they spammed the hell out of Asta screaming. I haven't seen the recent Black Clover stuff, but from the early stuff I was watching, if you had to play a drinking game where if you took a shot every time Asta screamed, you probably would have died in at least the first 2 episodes. And I think even though it did take a while, Black Clover / Asta has been able to find and carve out its own fan base / niche that is willing to support that type of main character, because I think at the end of the day, everybody has their own type of main character. They like, a lot of people do like that meathead, musclehead type of shonen character. That's what people come to shonen for. Remember that one time there was a mutant that couldn't die no matter what and they went ahead and killed him anyways? Yeah, I do too. Alright, his name was Darn, and I don't mean the cartoon fish. Okay, so a few years ago there was this X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, and as one of the most prominent mutants in that movie, Darn had a mutant ability to adapt to literally anything. The whole basis of his character is that if anything was to happen to him, no matter how bad or how destructive it is, his body would somehow find a way for him to survive. There he grows gills, it's night vision, flame-proof body, etc. No, you not smoking him. In the movie, right, Magneto literally pulls up and with no explanation at all, puts an energy ball down like Darn's throat. And with Darn being the mutant that he's supposed to be nothing, but nah, this man literally explodes and that's the end of him for the rest of these movies. Especially don't mess with this because how targeted and how BS of a death it has to be to kill the most literally unkillable character. Like, I know it's supposed to show Magneto's power or whatever, but nah, that was BS. Alright, so out of all of the kids in class 1A in My Hero Academia, which one has the worst quirk? If you say anybody else other than Ojiro, then you're lying to yourself out of bias. Alright, I know it's pretty hard to come up with a pretty unique and pretty cool superpower for a whole class of kids, especially if it's like 20 of them. Let's all admit that Horikoshi was working on a late night and just decided to give up when he said he was going to give this kid a tail as his superpower. Not an extra arm, not necessarily extra strength, it's just an overall extension with the tail on it. We don't discriminate in My Hero Academia, but what power does that tail possess that puts him in any tier above Deku pre-All Might? It's literally just an extension. You know, it's a shame on his bio when one of the main characteristics about him is that he had to learn karate. A world of superpowers, what does that have to do with quirks? Maybe bro's quirk awakening is his tail growing an extra hand or something like that. So out of all of the elements in Avatar, which one was the worst to bend? Alright, y'all gonna hate me for this, but I'm honestly gonna go with water. Start off, right? Water as an element is low-key the least convenient and the one that you have to keep on you at all times. Like, if you notice, firebenders were able to produce fire, airbenders were able to produce air, and earthbenders were able to have earth all around them because, you know, we live on Earth. Plus, they were able to adapt to start doing metal bending too, like that was kind of crazy. While being a waterbender, right, the ability to heal only comes to those of us who are like masters and masters of being a waterbender. And in order to access the full power of being a bloodbender that comes with being a waterbender, you have to wait till a full moon for it to activate. Like, that's kind of BS. And honestly, in Avatar, I feel like they end up in way too many situations where they end up without water in order for it to be one of the best elements in the series. So easy to take away from them. It has potential to be the most powerful, but it's like a glass cannon sort of thing, almost like once in a lifetime sort of trick. Alright, y'all, I think it's time we sit down and talk about the worst clan in Naruto. All adults now, so let's just submit it to Uchiha. First of all, if you take the Uchiha as a clan, some of his members have committed some of the most atrocious acts in shinobi history. Actually, most of them. Yeah, they're pretty cool, and they were the most powerful clan in Konoha, and they have some of the coolest techniques in all of Naruto. What's the point of all that power if it just ends up all folding onto itself, bro? You had people being like, bro, if you fight Uchiha, you're gonna have to jump them because they're just like that in on one-on-ones. Such a human thing for like the most powerful clan to be the reason that they end up getting destroyed in the first place and not some other clan. Love the Chia, bro, but they honestly lost it all. Now they have to start from day 0 with like 2.5 members. Okay, I think it's time that we bring back up the worst betrayal in fiction. Basically the moment where Raquel betrayed Bond. So this betrayal took place in the Tower of God, and in this series, if you get to the top of the tower, you'll be able to get your one wish granted. Obviously, you gotta go through lots of trials, tribulations, and death in order to get to the very top because it's hella hard to get there. Damn, our main character is basically a blank slate, right? All he knows is that he's at the Tower of God, no friends, no family, no backstory, and he just wants to reunite with his homie Raquel. Then we have the girl he's looking for, Raquel. Goal is to see some dumb stars or something like that, so she wants to get to the top of the tower. He knows how much Bam likes her, by the way, because he's helped her a lot when they find each other. To make it a long story short, they're in one of these Tower of God trials, and right when they're about to complete it, he pushes him. And the pure shock is unimaginable. From what I heard, this sets him on the path to be one of the rawest characters in fiction. 25th Bam is on the way. Cyberpunk Edge Runners flipped the whole meaning of what it means to go out as a legend on his head, and I'm here to explain what it truly means to achieve that status. Now, in the world of Cyberpunk, specifically Night City, right, it is basically implied and slapped in your face that if you really want to go out as a top dog, top of the city type of person, you're probably going to get smoked sooner or later down the line. And I think that reflects on what you're willing to give up or what you're willing to sacrifice in order to make sure that your dreams come true. Like every anime protagonist, by the end of the series, David had achieved every single one of his goals, whether or not he was alive. I think he's one of the strongest examples that as long as you achieve your dream in your own way, there's nothing that anybody can tell you to say that you didn't do it. His mom wanted to see him be a corporal, top of the tower, great person, but he ended up doing it as a merc. Yeah, he won't get to go to the moon or whatever, but at least Lucy got there. And no, this doesn't necessarily mean you gotta get smoked or whatever in order to achieve your dreams, but it basically says put the most in and you'll get the most out if you achieve your idea of a dream. Alright, y'all, I think it's time that we be honest about the man, the myth, the legend, the Red X from Teen Titans. I don't think he's a legend at all, and I feel like he was just supposed to be like some sort of like implantation of Jason Todd in Teen Titans. Let's be honest. Look at Red X and then look at Red Hood. Like, sure, at first it was probably Dick Grayson, but after a while, yeah, like Jason Todd probably was some way, somehow in the DC universe and picked up that Red X mantle. I feel like it's pretty obvious with like the implication that there is a whole wide world of superheroes and just outside of the Teen Titans, because you know, everything that happened in the finale and all of that. And all over the world, there is superhero business going on. So yeah, it's like Beast Boy was the only one to say it, but he did bring up that chalkboard and it had Jason Todd as candidates for one of the people that could be Red X. And when he told Red X that he thought he was Jason Todd, bro, Red X tried to gag him and all that, bro. Like, it's either Jason Todd right before or right after he got smoked. You know what you think? Pokemon been dancing around it for a minute now, so let me give you the real reason on why Ash doesn't age. Let's be honest, we all know it's because of money. Alongside that, bro, Ash is literally like the most marketable character in Pokemon ever, second to Pikachu only. I feel like the meme about him not aging even adds on to that, and then another reason on why they keep Ash, because they know the meme keeps going, therefore a trend of Ash is gonna continue going. If Ash could age, bro, let's be honest, his ending needs to be on one of the rawest tips ever, bro. Like, I know he got a championship and all that, but he needs to get like one or more and fight someone on some like legendary status or bring back one of his old opponents. For me, I wouldn't even mind with the series ending with Ash going and doing a run back with Gary Oak, or even him facing Red, bro, to finish off the series and him really claiming the title as Pokemon Master for real this time. If Ash could age, how would you let Pokemon end? Hey, do y'all remember that one time they had a racist Captain America? That was kind of wild. Bro was finally living up to his name for once as Captain America. Make it a long story short, bro got hit by an Energon Cube and ended up acting like everybody else that was from his time. Mind you, this takes place after Falcon has already become Captain America, right? So, shocking realization that the original Captain America has probably been racist this entire time. At least it feels like that, and bro doesn't want to stand up for the rights of the people anymore. I can't even sit here and act like that image of Captain America in the suit with the Hydra thing revealing underneath ain't hard. I promise you, the second that people saw this panel of him saying "Hail Hydra," the whole world was shook. Honestly, this is low-key kind of karma because people were mad about a black Captain America. Now the Captain America we do have is racist. It's a ill y'all deserve for hating on Sam. This moment almost gave me a heart attack, and if you're an anime only, you should probably leave now because the manga goes stupid. Makima is listening. For those of you that are in the manga readers of Chainsaw Man, bro, I think this was the very moment that all of our worst fears about Makima got confirmed true. I think this moment hits because up until this moment, right, a lot of us that were especially seeing Chainsaw Man for the first time that knew nothing about it, we were having little suspicions about Makima and what she could be up to and what could be coming up next. But the fact that she can hear, see, and that she's aware of every single thing at every single moment is the most terrifying realization of all time. I think this moment alone sets the tone for especially how the series is set up going forward. Of course, Kishibe wanting to kill Makima and her being the actual target instead of this person they showed up to kill is the reason that they're here. Answers a lot of questions, but it sets up so many more as it sets a tone for the series. Who is Makima? What can she do? And how does she have the power to be everywhere all at once? Alright, y'all know the deal. If you're an anime only for Chainsaw Man, bro, you gotta go. This is a heartbreaking moment. Honestly, for me, it gotta be the Denji happy birthday moment. It literally destroyed me. Now, this moment hits so hard because it takes place immediately after the Aki fight to the death where we saw the little snowball and them as kids, etc. That was already pretty bad. But for Makima to swoop in and take Denji into a pit of danger and make him agree to being her dog without knowing what's about to happen next is so painful. Makima makes dog Denji answer the door as he starts to remember that it's his birthday and there's power there with a cake. Out of nowhere, Makima sends power straight to fucking hell. This moment ruined me because afterwards she proceeded to lay into Denji and let her know how she's been controlling and manipulating his life from the very beginning. Mind you, we're reading all of this with the realization that power for real got smoked. The cherry on top is that the last chapter ended with him asking to be one of her dogs. This one ended with him realizing that he's always been one. I guarantee you this is the most busted human in fiction, and if not, he's pushing at least top 3. He goes by the name of Simon the Digger from Gurren Lagann. At the peak of his power, he was throwing galaxies like baseballs and punching multiversal beings in the face like it was light work. He's one of those characters that's able to achieve this through grit, willpower, and a big ass drill that uses spiral energy. Spiral energy in their universe is basically our DNA, our double helix. Our DNA double helix is constantly twisting, turning, and evolving as we learn, change, and grow as humans. Basically combining himself with every possible version of himself, he was able to achieve infinite willpower for an infinite drive for him as a human and his body to continually evolve and get more powerful. So through infinite willpower plus infinite energy that is powered by that willpower, Simon was able to achieve a level of godhood that throughout, no matter what happens, he's him. Hey yo, I think people need to talk more about this most broken Ben 10 alien that's not Alien X, aka Atomic X. Okay, so I know in a lot of versus debates, people be hyping them Alien X as the most omnipotent, most OD thing in all of Ben 10 fiction and damn near in all of fiction in general. I didn't know that Ben 10 took Alien X, his already strongest alien, and combined it with another one of his already OD aliens called Atomics. The alien Atomics is an alien that has nuclear energy and can overreact, and he's basically pretty OD like a nuking time bomb. But imagine that added in with omnipotent energy. That's already OD on top of OD. I can't even fathom the type of ODness that is. Are y'all looking at that tank on the screen that has nuclear and omnipotent energy flowing through his body at a constant time? Versus debates, we need to have Ben 10 running ones with people like Gurren Lagann, bro. He is a powerhouse in fiction for real. Alright y'all, I think it's time we talk about the greatest hater in fiction, aka the Reverse Flash. Someone made a list on Twitter about all of the BS that the Reverse Flash has done to the Flash family, so here I am to cover it just based off all the hater energy he has alone. He mentally abused the Flash since birth, killed the Flash's dog, killed the Flash's mom, tried to steal his girlfriend, but when he couldn't, he put her pack up. Literally only exists because the Flash is a good person. Then he moved on to torture the rest of the Flash family. Tried to make sure that Wally West and his whole family, including Iris, got packed up. First Flash is single-handedly responsible for Flashpoint, and somehow Batman got wrapped up in all of this, bro. He literally messed up the whole DC universe. He framed Barry's dad for the murder of his mom, and even went to little things like moving his arm so he couldn't catch a ball at a baseball game as a little kid, or even being the monster under his bed as a little kid, just off of hating him. The worst part is that's barely a fraction. The Flash still wakes up and does his job every day as a hero. I just couldn't. Okay, so out of all of these anime sports teams, which ones are you joining? Light work for me, I'm going with the team from Blue Lock. I'm an egoist for real. So the one thing about all of the anime sports teams on this list, right, is that they all have the grind, the work ethic, and the motivation to want it more than anybody else, and that's why they're the anime sports team protagonist on this list. But the thing about Blue Lock, right, is that it embraces the idea that you have to do it for yourself, that you have to be the standout star of your team, and I can just relate to that. Main striving thing that you choose to be in this anime is an egoist. For them, this is someone on a soccer team that is willing to take that last final shot despite the fact that if they were to pass it and give it to somebody else, that it is a guaranteed shot regardless. As an egoist, you know that if you want to be the #1 striker, the world #1 star, you have to use the Mamba mentality and take that final shot. That is the rawest thing you could ever be, bro. I'm joining the Blue Lock team. I know we bring it up a lot, but I think we need to talk a lot more crap about Korra for losing all the past lives of the other avatars. Like, I get it, she clutched up and brought the airbenders back or whatever, right? But this is a generational knowledge mistake. Like, it's one thing to go ahead and get your ass beat as an avatar. I get it, it happens. Not every avatar is gonna be winning every single fight. To let him take the essential core of your spirit, bro, like, I feel like Korra should have done a lot more to protect that part of herself. Now, honestly, all I do is really try to sit back and think about, like, the next avatar after Korra, right? Because he's gonna only have Korra to go back and refer to. I know there's a lot of Korra fans out there, but let's be honest, when it comes to dealing with situations, Korra is not the avatar that you would want to go to immediately. I brought this up one time in one of my videos, but I hope some way, somehow the next avatar is more of a spiritual one so we can have them go back and somehow reclaim all of the past lives.